mastering Instagram. Where you post matters as much as how much you post. So let's understand better where each thing goes, so then you can really make the best use of the platform. So now let's start with the feed post. Feed post is your normal traditional post when you put like a picture. So that's very helpful to put the work that you're creating, things that you're proud of, things that are going to stay there all the time. So when you think of feed post is when you open your profile, that's what is on your feed. I know that Reels also go to their post and carousel, but we're going to talk one at a time. So on the feed posts, we can have photos or carousels up to 10 images and little videos of up to 3 seconds can be in there as well, but we get the videos into Reels. So with the carousels, we're going to explore into detail, but carousels had a really good increase on performance and all of that recently, because nowadays if you just put one photo, it can be a great way if you have a statement photo, an introduction, a launch of a new collection, but doesn't tell as much of as a story when you put a carousel. So just keep that in mind. Having static posts can be really good too, because at times Reels can be really fast, and if it's an image that people want to dive in, that's where the feed post and the carousel works really well. And then stories. Stories are those ones that stay on top, that stay on for 24 hours. And when it comes to stories, they are really good to show more intimate process, maybe stuff that's not refined enough to stay forever in your page. What else? Some mistakes, things that are casual, all of that works really well on stories. When it comes to reposting stuff on stories, let's say you put a reel or an image, when to repost on stories or share on stories, I would wait more or less at least 24 hours to put it there, because many times your public won't really see, your followers won't really see what you put on. So I'll give it around 24 hours run, and then often is when I post up on stories for that extra 24 hours. When it comes to stories, a few tips that for me are important as how I like to have the experience as someone that's using Instagram as a follower versus then an active practice. So when I'm putting photos or static things on stories, I often add a music that will minimize the time that story is running, so it's not boring. Because think with me, nowadays is all moving fast. If you put an image there, it will stay there for around 30 seconds, and that becomes boring and people will pass forward. So when people pass forward, gives the message to Instagram that no one is really interested on that. Whereas if you put a story that's a bit shorter in time, say 5 to 10 seconds, and how you do that is by selecting a music and choosing how many seconds you want that music to stay on. That will minimize the time. And then if someone really wants to see more, they just go back on that story, and then Instagram actually receives the message that's oh, that story is actually really cool. People are going back to see it. So keep that in mind. It's not that you don't put photos or static things on stories, but if you do that adding the music, which gives a bit of a vibe and all of that, and get the performance of your stories better. So yeah, they're more intimate pictures and not so polished. And often people really engage with it because it's more personal. I personally really watch more stories these days than go through the feed. So to me, stories are a really cool part of it. And then let's go to Reels. Reels to me are the biggest tool of Instagram to develop, to get more reach, to explore. And there are many ways that you can work with Reels. So the good thing with Reels are they are videos, often short format, that you can explore in any way. You can use for photos, for videos, and like tell stories, voice over, face to camera. It's quite limitless, like how you can go with Reels. And understanding how it better suits you and you, the way that you work and all of that will be an individual process. But the good thing with Reels in terms of it reaches more people because it often gets shown on that explore page and gets suggested. So when you put a reel up, that's the big advantage. You're actually getting kind of like a free promotion to like-minded people on your page. And the key things with Reels, like there are lots of strategy and techniques that you can explore, and we're gonna touch on those. But the key things is having a cover for your reel, which is a really nice image that shows what your reel is about or what you are about. And visually it doesn't look as good, but having what is called a hook or a text, or let's say a headline of what that reel will be about, it helps a lot for people that are discovering, even for people that already follow you, in case they want to go back to specific content as they are looking through your page. They can really see what is that reel about, so it can be quite convenient. The thing that's really important to mention is we need to make sure that there is this balance in between aesthetic and being practical, because at times if you make it super aesthetical and visual, it gets really hard to read, so then it doesn't quite make for what was there anyway. Let me see what else I have on my notes. So like with Reels as well, there's a bit of a consistency. And I notice with myself, and I sometimes when I'm auditing other people's Instagram, there's a little bit of a 5 or 6 to perform well rule. So each 5 to 6 reels, one often performs really well. So notice if that's the case for you and try as you go. I'm gonna go deep into how to create a reel in many other formats later, but we just wanna have this initial understanding of what's what. So for me, reels work well for campaigns, for launch, for like behind the scenes, so many things. I think they are really versatile and really fun to watch in a short form content. So yeah, reels are a favorite of mine. When we go to carousels are basically static images or short videos. So you can mix like a little bit in that. You can put up to 10. Often I don't go much more than 6 because I feel like it becomes a bit too long. But you can tell stories, you can put captions on it, you can tell the story underneath. It's really good and it's coming up a lot. Like people used to do a little bit of a photo dump or to put more about their life. Even like things that wouldn't quite connect really well in one reel can be then telling a story with the carousel. And the carousel is great because people can pause on that image or on that text as long as they want. Sometimes reel can be a format that's fast and carousel really allows for it. And now, one thing that not many people know about it, that for me it's like a magical secret, is called trials. So trials is let's say an option that Instagram open. So if you make a reel and you want to show it to people that don't follow you first, that's what trials is. So imagine you create a reel, you face your camera, something that you're not comfortable with, you wouldn't really show to your current audience now, or you created a really good reel that you want to show to your audience, but you want to also take the opportunity to use this tool that Instagram has offered to show to new people before you show to your audience. So it's very simple. On the last page, before you press like publish, if you scroll down, there will be a little toggle option that is like trials. And then if you put on trials, which means that video won't be necessarily published unless you later go in there and allow it to be published and seen by everyone, including your followers, and then we'll go to your profile. But if you just put a trial, the thing that I like the most is sometimes I create the same reel and just change the cover to do what they call an A/B test. And it's really interesting. Many times I had this experience, exactly the same format, exactly the same reel, same caption and all of that, with different covers, had a completely different performance. One went really well and the other one didn't. And I tried that many times. And it's really interesting. That shows me a lot how the cover has impact. And I'm not talking about the hook, it's often the visual of the cover. At times I go just select some moments from the video, other times I put an image that I had that is correlated to what I have. So I often try both. And then later on, from 24 to 48 hours after, I can go in my page, which will be, you get in your profile, you have the tab that's just for reels. And then on the first top left picture, you would be something that's called trials and drafts. And your trial will be there. So once you click there, it will be open with your trial. You can click on it and see how it performed and decide if you want to share with your audience or not. So I think the trials are really, really powerful. If I'm not wrong, you need to have a minimum amount of followers to be allowed to do trials. But if you are active on Instagram, the followers will come. It's no worries on that. But really consider if your account already allows you to do trials, I would put on trials everything before I post live. Because I think that's really powerful. To me, it's like free advertisement because it's showing to a new audience, is exposing your content to new eyes, and then it can mean like new collaborations, new clients, new sales, so many new things. So I think that's a really, really good and underused, underexplored tool from Instagram, and I'll show visually how it looks on the platform later. And then like the idea, because there's a lot of like mystery into the algorithms side of things. There are many elements that makes it, but in general, what Instagram is seeing is you put something out there, people are gonna start looking at it. Do they like it? Do they watch it? Do they comment? Do they save it? Do they share it? Those are all the things that Instagram is measuring to see if it's something that more people would like to see or if it's something that not many people would like. So those metrics also can vary, like time of the day that you post and all of that. I don't have rules with that, as I don't really set times. I go with the flow and with intuition. But understand that the algorithm is working with your content and with the other things. And the whole intention and idea of Instagram is showing people, including you and me, things that we are interested on. So you see, if you start following someone new that came on an explore page and you like something from them, it's likely that you're going to be shown content that they put like 4 or 5 days ago. And that's because you show interest on what they have to say. So it's the same thing when you post. So just keep that in mind so you understand they're trying to work in the favor of everyone. So basically the takeaway with everything. Feed is like a gallery. Stories is like for a relationship, to getting connected on the behind the scenes, and everything else, literally everything can go on stories. Reels are great for reach and to tell a story and to show visuals. It's very universal to me. Carousels can go into depth. You can really tell stories, people can zoom in because it's like one post but with lots of images. And then trials are great to test ground, to put things out there that you don't quite feel comfortable yet to put in your platform on the face, because that's the great thing. Let's say you make a new format of reel and you're unsure if you really want to put in your page. You put on trials first. See how it performs. Give yourself 24 hours, sleep on it. And then after that, you can decide if you publish or not to your audience. I think that's fantastic. I use it a lot. Once I discovered it, I was like, oh, wow, that's actually fantastic. And I don't know why many people, maybe people are trying to keep as a secret, but really explore trials and you see how amazing they are. Mainly also to get out of this judgment, perfectionism, this uncertainty about putting new work out there, new pieces of content. So I hope that all makes sense as an introduction. In case you already know all of that, we just go for the next one, don't need to explore that more. But I think it's important to go step by step. There's always something new that can click in. But I'll see you in the next lesson.